It's your boy, Kami. I'm back, finally. It's been a long time. I actually missed out on a week, 1117. I'm not going to go back, just to quickly talk about some of the things I liked. My boy X Drake finally made it back. I've been waiting for him for a while. If you've been watching, you know. And I think seeing all the older characters, Don Krieg, Pearl, and I assume that's Gin, those were really cool moments as well. But overall, as a chapter, I think it was pretty good. The Zoro moment, that was also pretty good. I liked seeing Zoro push back Ethan, Venus, Juro. That was awesome. And, you know, it was a pretty decent chapter. But this chapter, we are not talking about that. This is 1118. Okay? This chapter is called Being Free. And this chapter I thought it got right back to some of the stuff that made me feel the most excited about this entire arc so far, and talked about my favorite characters of this arc since the beginning. And I think let's call it from 1096 to this moment was all leading up to here and into the future. When Luffy was like, what was with that flimsy punch you threw? I think that was a real moment. Luffy's been teaching. Luffy is learning from Shanks. He's teaching the kids. If you're looking around at all the past arcs, Momonosuke, Tama, Luffy's out here for the children, and that's what Oda's really pushing that moment of passing on to the future. And I'm loving that these parts of One Piece. So let's talk about being free. All right, this chapter, Being Free of One Piece. First of all, the Yamato storyline, it's at volume 8. It's called Setting Off. It's starting off really slow. I wasn't sure last week or 2 weeks ago when we had that chapter if it was Yamato was still in the Flower Capital or if Yamato had left yet. It seemed like she hadn't truly left yet, so finally Yamato is setting off on her voyage, and hopefully in the next chapter next week we see her reach an interesting place in this storyline, something that could connect everything, maybe have to do with the ancient weapons, but we will have to see. So we got a second part to this message from Vegapunk. So remember the first part from last week, it's those of you who carry D in your name, among you is Mo, and their name was. So like, that is, to me, I don't really think it's interesting or fun to speculate on what he could have said, what, you know, because this is like Japanese translated to English, and then now we have to finish a sentence in English. You know, I don't speak Japanese, so I don't think that that's something that we are gonna get like an accurate representation of. It is better to just wait and, you know, experience it as it comes. I don't have a guess for you as to what he could be saying. But and their name was, what that means to me was the name of Joy Boy's actual name, or this D clan member's name, because we don't necessarily know if Joy Boy was a D clan member, but those names are important. Like, whatever his name was, it's going to reference something that is important to the grand scheme of things. And in 1117, I want to point out that the characters, when they mentioned the D clan that came up, we saw Sabo, we saw Kobe, we saw Blackbeard, and we saw Beppo, which is a stand-in for Law, because I guess Oda doesn't want to show us what Law's condition is in this current moment, but seems to be calling out to Captain. Kobe, we don't know Kobe's name. Is Kobe a D? I don't think so. I think Kobe is related through Luffy and Garp. He's a stand-in for Garp. Dragon, superimpending. Blackbeard also superimpending. And Sabo is a stand-in for Ace, who was a D. So I think that these are the big players that this is referencing to. We also know that Vivi is also a D clan member. That cannot be forgotten, all right? Vivi is one of them. She is like us, all right? So these are some important factors to remember when it comes to this message from Vegapunk. Next, we see this Iron Giant. You know, the Iron Giant says, I wish to have seen Nika, and he laments about the fact that didn't get to happen this time. He knew Nico's around, where are you? And he seems to be giving up at this point. I really wonder, like with this urge that the Iron Giant, you know, these thoughts that Iron Giant had to see Nika, if 200 years ago when the Iron Giant attacked Mary Joa, if the Iron Giant was also trying to see Nika at that point. Like, what, like, are we going to get an explanation at some point to that explains what the motivation was for that? If there was a Nika at Mary Joa, that means that somebody had eaten the fruit at that point and awakened it. So I wonder if there'll be more answers to that. Obviously, nothing definitive could be said. The populace, I guess the populace is so stupid for believing that Luffy was the one who killed Vegapunk, and obviously this is going to give Luffy an incredibly high bounty raise, incredibly high bounty raise. But the truth will come out sooner or later, and we know we've seen all the propaganda, so it'll probably get spun this way. But the problem is, now that you have so many people who are aware of, you know, the government's lies. You know, Smoker is somebody who we saw in the last chapter, and Smoker is somebody who will not believe that. It's like you're covering people up, and, you know, a lot of people who knew Vegapunk, you know, will believe his message. Kuzan, I want to see how Kuzan's going to react to this. This is the same thing that Kuzan wouldn't be about. Like, this is why Kuzan left in the first place. Akainu, he don't care. He's already saw this with his own eyes, and a lot of people think he might be turning coat. So I think that this is, although this could look good for the government now in the long run, this is going to be major distrust among the ranks of the people in the world government. The Gorosei is going to target the Straw Hats now, since now that they've taken out the Iron Giant and killed the message, the Gorosei is moving towards taking out the other Vegapunks. So the one Vegapunk is on the giant ship, and then the second ship with Usopp and Chopper and Nami and Brook and Lilith is about to fly off the island. Jinbei and Zoro are still there, so we just have to figure out, like, is the fight going to continue, or are they going to blast off and escape? We know that Venus could, like, basically run on air, so, like, I feel like there has to be some type of fight or something that can stop them. If it's 2 Nikas, 8 Giants, and the entire Straw Hat crew can do it, then I'd like to see that, but we'll see. The Straw Hats are about to set off. Yeah, I just mentioned that. And then Luffy ate the power. He powered up again, and now Luffy is basically teaching Bonnie about what it means to be free. You know, earlier in this arc, we saw that Bonnie was losing her power because she was losing her belief, and then she saw her father, and she got to say her final words to her father and tell her how much she loved him, and he hugged her and embraced her, and she was starting to believe again at that point. And then she met Nika. Vegapunk explained to her that that is Joy Boy, that is the sun god Nika. The Giants came for the sun god Nika, somebody who also believed in what she believed in. And now all of the things that she was looking for out of life, her dad's wishes, the wishes of the Giants, her own wishes, have all manifested in front of her. How could she not believe? How could she not believe what's in front of her face? And now the power is coming through her, and it was such a beautiful sight. Just because we saw everything that she'd been through, we kind of saw from, like, throughout the arcs in the past, some of the things she'd been to, going into Mary Joa, going to Sabaody, following Kuma across the world, trying to find her father, trying to make her father's dream come true, and looks to Nika to save her father, because that's what Nika would do. And what is happening now? Nika is saving her. Her father made a decision, but where he is right now is being protected by Luffy. And I love it. That moment before I mentioned where Luffy says, what's just that flimsy punch? And then she says, you know, show me a giant. No, I don't know if she said giantish future at that point. But she said before, show me a Nika-ish future. And she did a punch, and it was Luffy laughed at it. So in the next chapter, I'm expecting a good punch out of Bonnie. A good punch. And I hope it's Saturn who catches it. Because Saturn, he's a menace and he needs to be stopped. And lastly, we saw the Giant notice that Nika has arrived. And this Iron Giant, I don't want this to be like another Zoe situation, please not another Zoe situation, because that would hurt me so. Hurt me so, because you know, we expected a little bit of something, and Oda's been, you know, blue balling us a little bit, and a little bit of blue balls is okay, but like, I want to know more about this giant so much. We just got it hyped up, and if it's not going to be now, it's going to be in the next arc. But if I don't get it in, I won't even say one chapter. In the next 2 chapters, I'm just writing it off, because I don't want to be thinking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. I'll just wait for something to show up, and then I'll go back, read it, and catch up again, and then I'll go, oh, okay, that's what he meant way back then. Because just thinking about it over and over again, what could he have meant? What's the relationship between the robot and the giant? Obviously, they're friends, but I want to know, like, more of a deeper, like, why do you love Joy Boy so? What did he do for you? How did he save you? You know? And that's it. I think in the next chapter, we'll get hopefully some moments with Buggy. I want to see Buggy's reaction to all of this. I feel like that is a necessary reaction. I want to see Dragon make a move, which probably won't happen for at least another 10 chapters. And I want to see Blackbeard's reaction, because I guess we just saw Blackbeard react when he said something about, you know, the D family, but I want to see Blackbeard's literal reaction about the news of the world, you know. And yeah, I think we'll also get some stuff with the Straw Hats escaping, and then the Venus Juro thing. He'll either show up or mention his Katetsu blade, which I thought also was a big part of the story. So a big part of the last chapter was like one panel, but a big part of the last chapter. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching this video, and keep reading One Piece. I think One Piece is on a roll right now. It's not always about power scaling. The moments in One Piece, they hit the most because they're built up and they're well thought out. And Oda, you done did it again.